get this recording started. Welcome to the biology class of Brigitta Hoeferle on this Tuesday evening. I say, hey, take your right hand, pat yourself on the left shoulder and say, well done, I am joining a biology class. And from here on out, Jeff Cly, who's an OBGYN, will be taking over if we are talking about that biology, but we're not. So have some paper and something to write on and write with, paper, pencil, whatever you have. iPad will do as well. And we're going to go through a few things. So I would like to keep this a little bit of interactive, if you may. And can everyone see me, or do you just hear me?
I can see you.
Okay, one. What about the others? I'm going to go.
I can see you.
You can hear me. Okay. So I'm going to hold up some cards, but I'm also going to read them. I would have loved to make this a little bit more interactive. But you know what? Before I get started, let me ask you this. What's better for you guys and for the people in your network? Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays?
Thursdays.
Thursdays?
Yeah. Because the middle of the week is just starting.
Yeah, you're right. And I just did this, like I said, I just moved in. Thank God. Woohoo! Praise the Lord that I moved in with my kids and my husband, and we just did grocery shopping and filled our pantry. Let me just tell you, that was a good feeling to have. Anyway, I'm digressing. So we'll do the next one next Thursday. So if you have more people to jump on, send them my way. I will. I can share the link, and we'll do another Facebook event where people can just sign up. But this is really something like biology is for everyone. And when we look back to when we went to school, biology was a class that we had to take and did take, and there was some very useful information. The biology that I'm talking about today is a different biology because it's spelled different. B-U-Y-O-L-O-G-Y. And are we not all in the business of selling? I am in the business of selling to my children on a daily basis. So we just moved. We, got their rooms ready first, which was my first task, and I'm glad that they are all settled in. They have a new bed. We just washed all of the sheets. But I am in the selling business with my oldest even more than with my younger. Will you take your sheets off your bed? Yes, and I'm nodding my head. With my younger more than with my older, will you continue to do your homework and your schoolwork? Yes, and I'm nodding my head. So I'm constantly bringing an idea across, and that can be seen or disguised as selling, and I'm putting that in air quotation marks. So when you have, we have one person here on the call that is going through creating a website. In that website, are we not selling the idea that the person who's visiting the website has some sort of a problem and I am the solution to it? So I am, again, putting in quotation marks, I'm selling them something. Anytime we open our mouth, we are selling an idea to someone or bringing an idea across to someone else, like I am doing right now with you. I'm describing what biology means. Okay, so everyone has a problem, and it can be addressed in different ways. We can address you are the solution to the problem by offering something on your website or on Facebook or on social media or in a storefront. But it really comes down to one thing and one thing only, and that's communication. And when I say one thing and one thing only, communication is not as simple as it may sound, and you all know that, especially if you have kids, or if you have employees, or you have team members that you work with, or you have parents. I mean, that would be all of us, right? So I'm a communications major. I have a master's degree in communications, and I did studies in public relations, and that was a really, cool study to have and to do. However, I never learned in my years of university to really listen, and that's really a big chunk of communication. So listening is keeping your mouth shut, but before keeping your mouth shut is what questions am I asking? And how am I addressing them so I can then plug into obstacles that the person that is listening to me perhaps have? So that's a pretty abstract concept. So let me make it a little bit clearer. So when you have a website and you are solving someone's problem, you want to ask some really good questions that is thought-provoking on the website, or that is even talking to the skepticism of people. Again, that's thought-provoking, that they are starting to ask themselves questions. When I am working with high-level, C-level clients in coaching and training them, I ask encouraging questions. I ask open-ended questions. I never ask yes or no questions. So it's the listening part of communication is really, how are you preparing the person to listen? And then the next question is, what are you listening for? And now we're really getting into the biology, because biology, the BUYOLOGY is what we're talking about today, is not about how am I selling to my clients or my prospects or my customers, but how am I interested in why are they buying? There's a big distinction. I want you to get really clear on that distinction. One thing is, and we've all had encounters with people that are kind of calling you up and vomiting all over you verbally because they want to sell you something. Anyone can relate? We've all had it happen. I've had it happen today again with a credit card. But when is someone very interested in you, in what is it that you need and why would you buy that? It's two sides of the spectrum. So the why the customer or the client buys goes in a 4-dimensional communication of what I have coined is the 4-dimensional communication that you want to implement in your written words, in your copy, in your emails, in your letters, in your marketing copy, your marketing materials, but also in the spoken word of what I'm doing right now, of the videos that I put on my website, the way I speak to my customers on the phone or to my clients on the phone, the way I speak to a broader audience. So the first in the 4 dimensions is, what kind of language are you using? Is it abstract or is it concrete? Are you using stories or are you just bringing facts? There has to be a balance of both. So if someone is just very knowledge-driven, a person that you find, perhaps in engineering or in IT, they're very knowledge-driven people, they tend to go more into facts. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They tend to go more into facts and data and research and all of that. Now, the counterpart of that is telling stories and make those facts really adaptable and relatable. And that's when you have that good balance of abstract versus concrete. You want to have more of the concrete language when you communicate with people. Then you want to go into the Moravian communication studies, and that is the second of the 4 dimensions, and that is knowing that words, the spoken word that you're using, is only 7%. So that's why I have a Zoom call here, and I would love, and I hope that you can see me, and I would love for you to see me. 7% of what we are talking is only landing with the person that we're talking to. Tonality, the cadence, the tone of voice, the up and down, the tempo, the volume, all of that is 38%. So it's 7% is words, 38% is tonality. Now get this, body language is 55%. That is a big, big chunk. And that is going to be left out if you only write copy, if you are only on the phone with someone, you cannot see them. Now there's a little bit of a way out. You can always, many years ago, I'll tell you a quick story. Many years ago, I worked for American Express Corporate Travel back in the days when Facebook wasn't around, thank God. I was a travel agent and worked for American Express Corporate Travel. And when I started my position in the office of a very large company that I did the corporate travel for, my boss gave me a little mirror, and it had the American Express logo on it, and at the very bottom it said, and it was in Germany, Ihr Lächeln spiegelt sich in Ihrer Stimme wider. Your smile reflects in your voice. And because body language is 55%, when you can mimic your body language somewhat in your voice, it's going to be more relatable to the person that's listening to you. And you can also listen for that when the person is talking to you. So body language is a big, big, big chunk, and that's the second of the 4 dimensions. Then we have what is being taught in neuro-linguistic programming, and that is listening for, and that's the third of the 4 dimensions, where is a person coming from which modality? Are they operating in an auditory modality, in a kinesthetic, in a auto-digital, or in a visual modality? And you can start listening for that when you have the proper training, that you hear where people are coming from. Are they coming from an auto-digital, which means are they talking more to themselves? Are they going into an internal dialogue? Are they kind of having little conversations with themselves inside their head? So some auto-digital words are, I get a sense of that, or let me think about that, or wait a minute, I need to process that. Let me consider that. And help me to understand this. Those are some auto-digital words. Then there are the people that are coming more out of an auditory modality, and you can hear them by when they say, yeah, that really rings a bell. That's an auditory expression, or that's a great question. Let me tune into that, or I'm tuning out of that. I'm all ears. I'm listening to you. I'm all ears. Auditory all the way. Or that sounds really good to me, or that sounds not really good to me. So the auditory of the modality. Then there's the visual modality that people come from. Yeah, I can see that. I can envision that. That appears right to me. That appears wrong to me. Let me show you how it's done. Oh, now that dawns on me, or I'm focused on that. I'm viewing this as such and such. Those are all visual words. And when you can hear people using those kind of words over and over, then you can also hear where the person is coming from, and that helps you. And I'll tell you where that helps you here in a second. Then there are the kinesthetic people that are very touchy-feely. I can grasp that concept. I can get a hold of them. that totally slipped through. That's very, a very concrete answer for me. That's a solid statement. Those are all kinesthetic, anything that you can touch and grasp. So that is the kinesthetic, visual, auditory, and autodigital that comes out of neuro-linguistic programming, and that's the third of the 4 dimension. Now let me go through the 4th dimension, and the 4th dimension I have learned about 2 years ago through Decode with Sherry Tree. I am a trainer for Decode as well as I am an NLP master and am a speaker on many large stages. Now, Decode is also divided in 4 areas. So where NLP goes into visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and autodigital, the Bank personality type is really going into the action-driven personality that is just really out there and don't give me the details, just give me, you know, the bottom line, and let's ready, fire, aim. Let's just go for it. You probably already know some people, maybe very intimately, that I'm talking about. Then there is the nurturer, the very, again, you know, kinesthetic, very touchy-feely kind of person, but also values harmony and relationship and community, giving back, personal growth. Then there are the knowledge-driven people that are the very facts, data-driven people that you find a lot in engineering, in IT, that are self-mastered. They need to go through the research and development. They're the ones that are reading the fine prints at the very bottom. They're reading the white paper from the very front to page 978 to the very back, where an action person would have said, screw that, I'm going to go flip to the last page and just read the ending, and then I know it all. So those are the knowledge-driven people. And then there are the blueprints. They are the by the book, very strategic, very structured, very go by, there are rules and we're going to go by the rules. So we all have all of what I just said, all of us in ourselves. And your clients, customers, and prospects have all of that in you. So why am I telling you this? And why are you on this call with me? For me to give you an idea and an awareness, because it starts with the awareness, how people are communicating. And I always found that fascinating, of how people are communicating and how we can uncode or break the code of someone that is communicating with us. Why is that necessary? Because if I just, okay, it's hard for you guys to understand, and the people that are on this call all know me. I'm a very action-driven person, okay? So I'm in your face, I'm high energy, lots of power, you know, getting stuff done. I have built, I don't know how many shelves today, and IKEA right now is my best friend. They really like me. I think they actually had to shut down. I might have just made them $1 million. I don't know. Just kidding. But I'm an action-driven person. Now, if I am ready to build rapport with a new client, and that client is not action, and I have no clue that that client is nurturer, or that that client is kinesthetic, or that that client needs a lot of time and soft-spokenness and just a little bit more mellow, then if I just go in with my action personality, I'm going to screw it up from building rapport. I'm not going to enroll that person. There's no way I will ever close that person, no matter what we're going to do together. And we might be in a nonprofit together, and I might not even have some sort of money involved, but I will never get her on my side or him. Okay, so the whole idea is of what I'm doing today with this biology class is to give you a tool, and I hope that you can see this. It's a little codex to crack the code of the people that you are talking to. The more people you talk to, the broader audience that you have, the more you have to become very, very aware of who you're communicating with and how are they in which modality and in which code and in which concept are they communicating, so you as the listener can adapt to their communication and not vice versa. Honest to goodness truth is, the majority of people go the other way around. They want to sell you something. They want you to understand them. They are all about themselves. It's ego. It's me, me, me. This is not what I'm talking about. I am really flipping it around. I am talking about, what is it that you do to get an understanding of the person that you're communicating with on a small scale or on a much broader scale, that they are drawn to you, that you have built rapport with them, so you can start an enrollment conversation, so you can then close them, whatever it is that you might do. It might be in a church, it might be on a website, it might be in a nonprofit situation, it might be in a bank, it might be in a chamber of commerce, it might be you're a coach and you are having conversations with clients. If you do not know, if you do know that you need to listen to them, that's step number one. That's an awareness that you now know that you really need to listen to them, and you need to, keep your mouth more shut than open. However, what is it that you're listening for? And that is the key. So, I'm going to use Jeff here for a second as an example. Jeff's working on a website, and when he writes copy for the website, if he just writes copy for one modality, coming only, say, out of the visual modality, only writing in visual all of his copy, and only writing it in blueprint. So being very strategic, very structured, putting in the duties and the rules and the titles and the traditions and the responsibilities and the processes and all of that. And he writes it in a lot of visual words with values of a blueprint. Guess what? He's missing out 300% of the people that are coming to his website. And what did I just do? I just gave you a story. I made it very hands-on, and I went from abstract to very, very concrete. I made it very relatable and very adaptable. So when you only communicate out of your own modality, and when you communicate out of your own code, because we all communicate in one dominant code, we all have all four of the four in us, but we have one that we're really comfortable and good in. And if we focus on only communicating from that, then we are leaving a lot of money and a lot of people that are needing to be served by us on the table. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, when I started working with Sherry and I started creating my webinars in the 4-dimensional communication, Sherry said something, and she has that in her very first slides when she presents, and it says, "Let me help you to increase your sales by 300%. Let me help you to increase your sales by 300%. When I first saw that, my skepticism radar went way high. I'm like, wait a minute. 300%? How is that even possible? But now that I have learned, and I've just described what I described to you, is if I only communicate in my dominant language, I'm leaving the other languages out, and therefore I am not communicating to these kind of people that are needing to be served, that are needing to hear what I have to say, and that I then, in return, am needing to listen to. But I will not even start to build rapport with them because I am not communicating on their level. Let me give you another example. How many of you have had, some sort of a date or an encounter with the other may be, you know, a potential partner or potential date or potential whatever it may be. And you just feel you completely hit it off and you are just so on the same page, you're communicating on the same level, just to find out you're somewhat of a similar code and you're communicating somewhat on a similar level. Vice versa, or on the flip side, how often have you encountered someone that you're communicating with and you are just, I mean, you are coming from this direction, the other person is going the other direction, you are just, you're not even on the same planet. You are just worlds apart in communication. That is most likely because you come out of one code and one modality, and the other person comes out of a different code and different modality, and neither one of you has the ability or the knowledge or the understanding or the awareness that, wait a minute, I'm communicating here, the other person is communicating there. We are just not communicating on the same level because I'm a blueprint and that person's an action person, for example. So there is no similar way to communicate in this scenario unless I have the awareness and I have the ability to learn what am I listening for, so I can then communicate in that language of that other person. Now that was all very technical, I gotta say. Any questions so far? No need to be shy. Okay.
How about, do you have people that are divergent, like the movie says, that are really working all four very well?
Yeah, I have encountered people that are divergent, and they were either a person where I'm going, shoot, I cannot read that person for saving my life, because I'm really good at reading people, or that are just really have been in, you know, salespeople. Some really, really good salespeople can be divergent if they have done a lot of training. So yes, there are some out there. They're not a whole lot, but you're right. You know, when I years back when I started this concept, I thought of the movie as well. And it's, you know, there's a fifth layer. What are the what did they call them? Something with an F. What was that? Can't remember. Once we hang up, I'll probably remember. I can't
remember it.
Not fragments. If I ask my daughter, she'll know immediately. She read the books and loved it. Hey, good seeing you, Jeff.
Hello.
Drive safely.
I'm parked now.
Factions. That's what they were called. Factions.
That's it.
Yeah. So, and those people are really, they're a lot of fun to talk to, because they are very diverse and they are very divergent. Good question. Any other questions? Mark Templeton. Okay.
Just want to know, how do you actually communicate with the person with a different background? What's the difference?
Like a cultural background?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. Countries also have their own codes and their own modality or major modality that they work in. Like, I'm going to give you an example. Germany, not a kinesthetic culture, not a nurturing culture much. So you want to do your homework beforehand. So if you go to a different country, say I go to Singapore and I would do a training there, I would read on the traditions of the country, the how people do business, you know, the do's and don'ts. There are great books out there on that, or just, you know, serve the interwebs, or hire my husband, Christian. That's what he does for a living. So that's a really good question.
That's a good one.
Look, you ask question, I listen, I give you answer there.
Yes, you did.
But yeah, countries have codes as well. Like America, the United States overall is a very action-driven country. Look at our president right now. He's a very action-driven person. He's ready, fire, aim. You know, I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time, you know, looking at the details. We all have all 4 or all 16, if you will, within us. But there's one that's always dominant. So the United States is very action-driven. There goes my action card. The Bahamas, what would you say are the Bahamas?
We are action-driven persons. We are on fire.
That's true, but you know what? And I've done some training in the Bahamas. I also would say that the Bahamians are very nurturing as well.
Yeah.
And that might be, they're very action, you're right, but they're also very nurturing or very kinesthetic, because you have a lot of single mothers in the Bahamas, and they are very nurturing. But boy, if you mess with their baby, it's game on. They're action.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Right?
That's the truth.
So action and nurturing. Germany, very, very blueprint. Very blueprint. We go by the rules. There's a structure, and we're going to stick by it. You know, we just bought a house here, and we love the home, and most of you that are on the call know the whole story. We love the home, but there are some areas, like there's a railing of the stairs. There's stairs that goes down here, and you might see the railing right here. I looked at the railing and I kind of, you know, wiggled on it, and I'm like, dude, you had one job to do. What did you do with this railing? And my German came out. So I told my realtor, he said, look, on some things, you just got to remember where you are. You're not in Germany. This house was built within 3 months and not, you know, 2 years as they did in Germany. So, but it's the awareness. So Temple, now is a really good question. It's the awareness of who you're communicating with from which culture. Do your homework on that, but then also listen and don't assume. That's another big thing, you know, in the 4 agreements. Never, ever assume that only because that person is German, it's very blueprint. In my case, you would be totally off. But I'm not your typical German either. That make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah. So I'm really excited because the next few weeks and months, I'm training on this. I'm going to California, Orange County. I know, woe is me. I don't know if I want to go to California for, you know, a week or 2, and my daughters are going surfing. But anyway, I'm training in California on this. Going to Vegas after that in July. And there's actually an invitation I want to give out to you. And it's actually an invitation with some urgency, because I only have a few tickets left. It's the BankaCon annual event, and the event only costs for 4 days $595, which is nothing. Les Brown will be there for $595. You'll get a meet and greet with Les Brown. Anybody not know Les Brown?
Of course, he's the best.
He's the best. He's the best. He's incredible. So Les Brown, you know, I love children, and most of you know I founded a school and sold the school last year. Children are my passion, and when I heard Les Brown's story of that the school sent him home and said, look, he's retarded, and it took one teacher that said, do not listen to anyone. You do what you need to do. You follow your dream. That really touched me. And that made Les Brown an incredible mentor for me. So Les Brown will be there. He's one of the speakers. Joshua Higginbotham, large business owner of a network marketing company. He'll be there speaking on enrollment and sales. The founder of Lightspeed VT, who has done an incredible, I've never seen any home study course like that, what he puts together, Lightspeed VT. Google it. It's absolutely incredible. Very interactive, not your typical home study courses. Maybe something down the road.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah. Lightspeed, light, like the light, and then speed, Lightspeed VT. Maybe something, Jeff, for you to look into if you do home study courses in the future, because they do an incredible job. Sam Crowley will be there on podcasts. Of course, Sherry Tree will be there on bank. Then there are, holy cow, there's a whole lineup of speakers. I can't even think them top of my head right now. But just the value that you're getting, let's just leave it at Les Brown. Just the value that Les Brown brings is going to be absolutely incredible. Having a meet and greet with him and shake his hand and get a picture with him. Bring, if you have his book, bring that and let him sign it. So that's for 4 days, BankaCon, $595. That's the VIP ticket. If you choose not to go VIP, you can do $395, and that's it. $395, but that doesn't have a meet and greet with Les Brown, but you still get to see him and still get to have a ton. There's another great speaker, and I just talked to him the other day. When was that? It was still on the Airbnb, so it must have been last week. That's kind of my timeline right now. He is a book coach, and the nuggets, just in the short conversations we had on the phone, the nuggets that he drops are absolute. They're not nuggets. They're actually diamonds. They are so full of value. Incredible book coach. If you're ever looking at writing a book, and I know Templeton, and I actually still need to send you the introduction to Karen. I won't forget that. But he'll be there. Like I said, a whole array of speakers. If you've ever done any self-development and you know the prices of trainings and seminars, you know that this is a steal. So I just want to encourage you you can just send me a quick email, Brigitta@Hoeferle.com, or just chat here on the chat. Or let's see, you can send me smoke signs. You can find me on social media and send me a message there. You can come by my house. I might have some espresso for you. Either way you want to do that. I'm going to put in here Brigitta@Hoeferle.com. That's where you can just shoot me an email and say, hey, I want to know more. I want to know more about the BankaCon. I want to know more about how we can work together. I can coach you on copies. I can encourage you to use different modalities in listening, or I can go through a whole training of communication with you. So there are many avenues that we can go together. When is it again? It is July. That's a great question. It's end of July. Hold on, bear with me. July 22nd through 22nd through 25th. And it's at the West Inn, Vegas. And Jeff, I can send that all to you. But yeah, that's when it is. July 22nd through 25th, BankaCon. It'll be incredible. It'll be absolutely outstanding. And I told Sherry, when she started talking about doing this and the price, and she consulted me, I said, that alone for 4 days, if you do that with Success Resources or Bill Walsh or anyone else that's in the self-development arena and giving value, that is a value of at least $4,995, and she's giving it, VIP $595. That's a steal. But anyway, enough me rambling on. Any more questions? I'm going to put this in the chat as well. July 22nd through the 25th, West in Las Vegas. All right. Well, if you have no more questions, I gave you a little nugget, a little code cracker, and I hope I gave you enough to be of value, and I hope I didn't give you too much, so you will come back and say, I want to know more.
Of course.
Oh, and by
Excellent.
the way, hey Templeton, do a quick plug for your live night.
The Success Live Night is going to be a phenomenal event. Is event that we're going to gather speakers from around the world that is going to speak on brief tips on how to grow their success. And so I'm gearing towards getting leaders to actually coach and create more leaders. And so it's going to be a phenomenal event. And so I would like for you guys to join on the Facebook Live, and it's going to be a fun jam night.
Yeah. I'll be on. You don't know a date yet, do you, Templeton?
Not as yet. I'm still working on the date and all that stuff. So
yeah. Templeton, how old are you?
I am 20 years old. Going to be 21 in July.
That's what I'm talking about. I hope to see you in Vegas. I really do. We haven't met. I haven't met Templeton in person yet, but he's an incredible, driven young man, and we need more of that for our future. Agreed?
Yeah.
Very cool. Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. And Mark, I don't know if he can hear us, but Mark is actually one of my guests that I actually invited. So
hey,
I don't know
Mark, welcome.
It's I don't know if he can actually hear us, but he was here. I think he might have his things on mute.
Yeah, I tried to get him to talk earlier, but that's okay.
No, I don't think his speaker is working, because I think he's trying it to turn it on and off.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, it was great having you on. Jeff, always great seeing you. Templeton, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to have another one, something like this, probably more of a question and answer, but I'm going to do this on a weekly basis. So I would love for you to spread the word. I'm going to put another Facebook event out there, and just being here of service to you guys.
Of course, I just started. I'm putting it on LinkedIn now, so I have about 3,000 persons on LinkedIn. So I'm hoping that they attract to Facebook. So
I love it. You have 3,000 on LinkedIn. You're 20 years old and you have 3,000 people.
I know, right? I'm so popular. I'm popular, man.
I love it. All right, you guys. I will hopefully see you next week. If I don't see you, I hope to have someone of your network in, and I would say rock and roll.
Let's
Sounds
go.
good. Thanks, Brigitta.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.